Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to another episode of Neos Land Kickstarter Edition. We are going over Q&A of all kinds of stuff about the Kickstarter, all kinds of stuff about the game, and why you should join us, not only in helping to design this game, but to play it. So, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us here in the Hangout. You too, Jacques. Jacques, by the way, is the CEO of NeoJack and like the main person that leading the team, making sure this is happening for us. And it's been a long day.
It's a long day, that's for sure.
Yep. We got a couple more episodes to go, and probably going to throw a break in between here, maybe after this episode for a few minutes. And anyway. Jacques, we've been talking at the beginning of almost every episode, we've forgotten a few, about the daily rewards. And the daily rewards are, today, right now, you watching live, if you get in on it, you get all 30. If you're watching this tomorrow on YouTube and you get in it, you're going to get 29. And it's because one removed per day of the campaign. And so I got my bid in, and so I'm getting all 30. And we've been going over each one of these. Now, the next one on the list here is a compass.
That's correct, yes.
Why? Is that so I can find my way back home?
Pretty much. The big thing with the compass is, in the world, we're not going to have like your normal maps that you can go to and just see where you're running, north, east, south, west, or stuff like that. You're going to need certain tools for that. Because we want people to explore the world. We don't want to make it just easy for you just to know, go from point A to point B and you know exactly what's going on. We really want people to feel that exploration in it. So you're going to definitely need a compass to get there. But this won't be like any type of compass, With this specific one, it might help you with things like, say, for instance, if you're looking for, say, ogres or something like that, it might direct you a little bit to where it thinks they are or stuff like that. Where the normal ones that can be made in the world, will just be there and just tell you north, east, south, west. So it's definitely a reward that will be very useful.
And if I'm going out hunting ogres, I told you earlier about my story of going out and hunting a rabbit, and it killed me because I had no skill in rabbit killing. and I wasn't expecting that. That was my first day in Ultima Online. And so, is the compass something that I'll lose when I die?
No. Like somebody asked us questions already, right? If you die, you're going to lose any of your rewards that you have here. Mm-hmm. So those rewards, we don't want people to lose them as such when you die, But you can trade them. They are tradable items, right? Mm-hmm. So you can sell it to somebody else at some point, maybe if you wanted to. Okay. So they definitely be worth some money.
So like a player-made version would have a possibility of losing it if you died. But sure, this one, no possibility. But it's not like bind on equip either, because
it's not stays with you now.
You can give it to somebody else later, whether that's a financial transaction or I just want to give my wife a gift of jewelry in the game, and I can call it jewelry.
Yeah, exactly.
So, speaking of jewelry, will we have people who make jewelry in the game?
Oh, we haven't had any crafting abilities like that set out, but it's a possibility of that, right?
Because I need someone to help me make my crown that I can wear proudly as I walk around my town. Oh, sorry.
The crown made out of horse dung.
It's my dung crown. Oh my god. No jewels for you. So, okay. So we've got several people here. Who would like to start off some conversation with something provocative? Yeah, okay. It's getting late.
Provocative. Alright, okay. Naked women?
Nudity allowed.
Okay, let me ask. Nudity
that's a special version.
Nudity in the game.
That's
In
a
like
special
Age of
mod.
Conan, the women could walk around with no top on. What is the rating going to be on this game?
Oh, it's a good question. We haven't decided on that yet. So,
So, would we? I'm. Yeah, okay. That's a whole other topic, I guess. So, okay. So, next up.
I have a question. What if you're envisioning about how do you start the game? I mean, I know I mentioned earlier, or mentioned in one of the round tables that maybe we can have a beginner's island where you go through and you actually learn to move. You learn to dig things. You learn to build things, and then you get transported to one of the 5, 6, 8 starter villages, which have a few NCPs you can sell basic stuff to make a few bits of cash first of all in the game. But what was did you envision the starting to be when you first enter the game?
well, yeah, it's a good question. That like we found, that we somehow want to incorporate the community into starter players, to helping them out and doing things and showing them, and having certain places where they can do certain things, right? But we don't want to do it as a separate thing, where you start and then you go. Like that's just the norm of most MMOs. So I mean, that's something we definitely want to discuss on a roundtable, because we want to try and move away from that set way of doing things. With most of it, you can see with the game, we're trying to do that. And I think if you do the same old thing, I've seen Marky Dragon play a game that he just started. I can't remember what it was, and then he was on his video. He was really upset that they had to go through this whole training system just to figure out how all this stuff works. Meantime, he's done it before, right? And we want to make it more fun. We don't want that to let people sit there and say, "Oh, do we really want to go through all the same boring things, to do all this to learn something?"
Do you think that that there would be that what we're doing in the game, for anybody who's played an MMO, it would just make sense right at the beginning?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what about the people like my dad pledged, and now Dad, he's played WoW. He did play WoW a bit. He played a little Runes of Magic, and now he's in here. But he's not. My dad's 71, and he's not. He's not a hardcore MMO player or whatnot. And so, how does someone like him, who's not as skilled in the game, get started?
Ask
Well,
his son.
Sorry.
What's that?
Ask his son.
Ask his son.
Yeah. Well, that's a good
but-
idea.
Well,
So-
but how do you get the engagement of these other people who maybe think it looks interesting, but it's too daunting because they look at it and they go, "I don't know how to do all this stuff, so why would I want to buy the game?"
Yeah, exactly. Like even now, you put a little tutorial there for them, and you show them on the screen and everything. But that can become daunting, right? So I would say we definitely have to bring a system in place, maybe where we involve the community that's already there, that's like veteran players and so on, to basically train or help these players as they come in, because it's so much easier to have a one-on-one with somebody, as a trainer, than to just go and follow the thing and try and make sense of it right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
We had in Ultima Online, we had counselors and we had seers. And we had a few other types of players that were volunteers that volunteered to help people, and the counselors, I think, what they would do is when a new player entered the game, like they were in the game for the first time, they were able to see that there was a new player in the queue, and they were able to transport to them with their counselor character that wasn't really a combat character and stuff, and then they were able to just say hello. And I remember half the time I was actually a counselor for a little while till I got fired, and and I wasn't a very good counselor, and I would sometimes appear with these people, and they would run away from me because they didn't know who this was appearing next to them, but also. You'd start talking to them, and they would just sit there silent for a long time. And what it boiled down to was they didn't know how to talk. in the game. So they didn't even know the simplest thing of just start typing or hit enter to start typing, and that you could start doing stuff. And I'm gonna write this down as a how do newbies get into the game? Somebody who's not experienced with MMOs. I think that would be a great roundtable, and I think that counselors or whatever, people who that are deemed as being trustworthy or whatnot, or good ambassadors of the game, could be talking to them at the beginning and helping them out, leading them in the right direction.
There's a similar system to that in Asheron's Call that I played like yonks ago, like 10 years ago, and there's basically like a patron system in that, a patron and a vassal system, where a higher level, more experienced person would take on like a lower level, less experienced person and like help them with the game, and the more the vassal progressed and the more skill they got in different areas, the more kind of experience points it would give to the patron. And maybe that could be like changed to like, say, for example, the vassal is becoming really good at fishing or woodcutting, and that gives the patron bonuses to to fishing as well. Maybe they get like a buff over a certain period of time. But it just kind of gives higher better players an incentive to go and help people who aren't as kind of proficient in the game.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, and written that down for an actual roundtable.
Yeah,
I linked something. Has a system like that as well, where you can help out newbie players, and they can basically set a recommendation for you. And the more recommendations you get, the more you're rewarded with like in-game items and such. And that could be similar to the system you implement in here, where more recommendations a higher level character gets, maybe they get like a bag in the mail of just in-game currency for just helping out.
Or a badge.
Yeah, a badge too. Yeah, like everybody likes swag to show off.
Or a bonus to
casuals go very, very far in games like this. It's just something, I don't know the word for it, but it's very, it's a gimmick. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. It's very gimmicky, right? People will do it just because they can get that item. I will train somebody because I'm going to get a hat. I'm going to train somebody because I get a little aura around my sword. I'm just going to go out and help 5 people in the game because I want a little aura around my sword. I also linked something there about a mentorship system in the chat there. You can go ahead and take a look at that. That's the way that these guys do it. And I know I keep linking back to Demons, but I've worked with them, so that's the only reason why I keep linking their stuff. But they do it very, very well with this type of stuff. They've implemented all this type of stuff, mentorship, families, legions, all this other kind of stuff. They've done it, and it works very, very well. But the problem with that system is that it's based on levels. And I know that you guys are talking about not putting levels in the game, right? There's no levels. It's no levels, no experience, nothing like that.
Well,
so
there is
it would have to be
experience,
tweaked.
But
okay, there is experience.
It's just that you are what you do, or what you study.
So skill based.
Yeah,
skill based.
It is skill based, and you can there'll be maybe in blacksmithy that just in general sword making you can reach the top, but then you may add on to that so the skill of steel folding.
Okay.
So that now you're adding another thing to just a regular sword, where you're actually folding the steel, and so this is a whole another progression. But you may also have, metallurgy, or
armor smith or something.
Yeah, and all these different things that a blacksmith would be branching out as, even though his one basic skill, hammer pounding on metal, whatever it is working, is at 100%. There's all these other ancillary things to really flesh it out, and when you get these high-end combinations where you have something way up over here and something way up over here, and you've got both of those as a mastery, when they come together in a single item, you've then made something very, very valuable.
So would it be a kind of like a skill tree system or a basis system? And you guys have probably already touched base on that. Is it going to be something very similar to the way that RuneScape does their their system in a sense, where you get skill 99, because there's no levels in the game. It's just basically this will equal this big item that you're talking about. I like that in a sense.
And you'll be able to learn forever. The characters that are right here in the beginning, a year from now, will have a year of learning, and will be very knowledgeable
Wise.
in the game. Yeah.
Well, then I guess you could do it the same way then with this mentorship or apprentice system. You could train somebody. If I've been on the game for, let's say, 30 days, then I've got 30 days of clocked time. So I'll be able to help somebody that's got 1 day of clock time, and I'll be able to come down to this guy and say, I am wise 30 days. You know, I like that. I like that system for sure.
Yeah, we've actually talked about that with skill books as well, that a 30-day-old player has 30 days of skill in something, would be able to create skill books for the, 5 days, first 5 days of skill, or whatever, for a brand new player, stuff like that. And that can all go into mentorship. That can be all part of a mentorship system. So, we've got A who has joined us. Hello, A. He waves. Nobody sees that, but he waved. Oh, okay. So, A, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I wanted to talk to you guys about the massive multiplayer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see a game that actually uses a controller.
Oh, so you want to use like an Xbox controller or something like that within the game?
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Jacques?
I touched base on that to Saint. I actually said that to Saint too.
Yeah, there is. Of course, we're using Unity, and they export to all platforms pretty much. So there is and it's, to be honest, it's not a big jump to do from one platform to another one. It's more the input. It's the only difference, mostly, and then some little bit of gameplay depending on how you look at it, right? But there's a possibility of getting that right. It all goes around how much resources we have and when we want to release, right? It's always been a problem, right? So, Kickstarter will obviously define how much stuff gets made and how much stuff gets put in. So, if we reach certain stretch goals, certain things can be added into it.
So, if you were to play a game like this, and what would you want to use the controller for?
Just grinding and walking around, all my attacks mapped to the controller would be really nice. That's the only reason why I stopped playing massive multiplayers, because I'm more of a casual gamer.
And so how would you talk to someone else with a controller?
Hopefully VoIP.
Okay. Maybe you just have a push to talk button on your controller, button combination, and then you can talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
If I had to interject there about the controller with an MMO, I think Final Fantasy, the new one, that Final Fantasy: A Realm Reborn, they've actually got it implemented, and it's a full-scale MMO, and you can actually use your controller for pretty much everything. I don't think about the push-to-talk thing, but I mean, it would make sense that you could push like a button on your Xbox controller and say, hey, or whatever. I like that.
I do know that a friend of mine has built an application for Xbox controllers to use them for anything, including typing, and it's a pretty amazing system. He's built it for kids with autism that have a lot of troubles with keyboards, but have really good memory retention and everything for key combinations for writing words. And so even with, I addressed the typing question with A, how do you talk with everybody? And he had a great answer that I wasn't thinking of. But the fact is, people can type with a keyboard controller. It is possible. And but it may not be practical for everyone.
Xbox also has a keyboard that plugs into the bottom of the Xbox, and it's a full layout keyboard. It doesn't have F1 through F12, but besides that.
And it's like for like texting style with thumbs or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I could see that too. Now, us people who are of my age and above, We didn't grow up with texting, and it's a little bit more difficult for us. I look at my son, who's 25, and you know he has his phone. And he goes, and it's done, and I'm like, holy shit! Look at this, Android. Please dictate, and then I tell it what I want. But you know, so anyway, okay. Well, that's some good suggestions there.
But I would have to say that there is a lot of games out there already that already have the they push to talk, but then they also have open mic, and I know that can be a pain in the ass sometimes with, you know, some people that just constantly never shut up, or they got a crap ton of background noise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
they get muted.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So if there's a way to do that, then I mean, I think that's going to be easy to put a vent type thing into the game. I think that's probably fairly easy. But a lot of people just use Skype nowadays, or a vent of some kind, TeamSpeak, or you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's really worth developing that into the game itself.
I've seen people using Hangouts to like just do audio on Hangouts and just roll with that.
Mm-hmm. We've done that several times on our gameplay stuff, but it's just so that we can have all the cameras on, so everybody can see us get drunk while we're playing.
I like that option. I think we should let's add that into the game.
So, Jacques, will you be interested, or will you allow us to have drunken roams in the game?
Only if I can do it with you guys. That's a new reason.
Oh, okay. Yes, well, just as long as you don't start...
I'll have some special abilities, right? So it'll be good to stick with me and not try and kill me.
Oh, I see. Yes, well, okay. You know, just as
WoW
long as
has
you're not handing out free guns, everything will be fine.
World of Warcraft has that drunken ability. If you drink too many of the brews or whatever else it may be, you drink an ale of some kind, your whole screen goes all blurry, and you can't walk straight, and you're walking like this, even though you're pressing W, and you're still walking like this.
And your glasses don't stay on either.
I know, that's the problem. You like that?
How many drinks have you had, buddy?
I'll be fine.
So, okay, well, we are at the end of this episode, and so I think what we're going to do is we're going to shift things just a little bit here, and we're going to take a few minute break, and so we'll start the next episode at 15 after, and that'll give us a couple minutes away. And so 15 after will be the next episode starting. Although if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be a straight 2 hours. And so we'll come back and do it. Does that sound okay with everybody?
Yeah.
All of you that are here in the Hangout, you can stay here. You don't have to go anywhere, and we'll pick up where we left off.
Oh, he loves us.
Sounds good.
Well, you know, I wouldn't call it love, but you know, we'll see you back in a few minutes.